What up, ballers? This week, the intersection of Ludlow and Rivington in New York City was approved to be called BEASTIE Boys Square officially. Here's an excerpt of an interview we did a while back with cover photographer Jeremy Shatan about the Paul's Boutique cover art concept and the photo shoot.
You met up with your friend Mike D from your previous band days, which we'll talk about in a second, and he was like, hey, this is my idea for the new album cover, and you were like, I know how to do that.
We were having lunch in Soho one day, and Mike's older brother was there, and we were kind of teasing Mike about something. So he quickly changed the subject and said, hey, we have this idea for our next album cover, but we don't really know how to make it happen. And I said, what do you want to do? He said, a 360-degree panorama in an intersection. I said, I can make that happen.
What kind of camera do you use for that in 1987?
You know, I don't remember the exact name of the camera, but it was a panoramic camera. It shot 120 film, and you wound it up. It literally was a wind-up camera, but a very, very expensive wind-up toy, if you will. You wound it up in one direction, and then when you pulled the trigger, it unwound in the other direction, and the film inside was moving
right
along with it. So you got maybe 2.5 360s on each roll of film.
Wow. And so how long did it take to spin around? 2.5 seconds?
It probably took about a minute to go around.
That's cool, because actually when you look at the photo, it does not look like it's a long exposure. It looks like it's just a second in time. You know, and not everyone's posed there, right? Like, isn't Adam Yauk, MCA, skateboarding there down the street?
Yeah, so what we did, we actually shot it more like a film than a photograph in a sense, because I put the tripod in the middle of the intersection. You have to understand, we had no permits, nothing.
Yep.
We were just there early enough that there wasn't a lot of traffic. So I crouched under so I wouldn't be in the shot, and I was holding the cable release, and I would get it all set up, and I would call action like a film director, and I would pull the trigger, and then the Beastie Boys would perform. They were performing for this spinning camera, and they just jumped around and acted all like you see them on stage.
Right.
It was kind of a shock to me because I hadn't seen them act like that before, because I didn't see any of the License to Ill concerts. So I didn't know what their stage persona was like, but they went crazy. So I probably shot 25 rolls of film, because the thing about it is, with a spinning camera, you don't know what you're going to get, especially with people moving around. There's a lot left up to chance.
Yeah, there's like a bus coming down the street.
There's all kinds of stuff going on.
There's an old couple getting out of a car. Right, all those people are not actors, right? Just the Beastie Boys are the actors in this shot, right?
Nobody else, everybody else was just people who just were walking by.
Have any of them come out and said, hey, I was that guy?
No, not to me. They might go to the Beastie Boys with it, but I certainly haven't heard that anybody said, hey, I was in that shot.
And now, you said that there were props, right? Because that's not a real store, obviously. Maybe not obviously.
Some people think it's a real store, but it's not. A friend of theirs made the sign, and then they brought all that stuff and made the store look like a Paul's Boutique of the mind. Paul's Boutique was a clothing store in Brooklyn. We had never been there. We had only heard about it on the radio.
Hold on, it was a real place? You heard about it on the radio?
Paul's Boutique was a real store in Brooklyn. It was advertised on WLIB by the wonderful Gil Bailey, the great Jamaican DJ.
The best in men's clothing, called Paul's Boutique.
So that clip is Gil Bailey talking?
Exactly. That's recorded off the radio.
And so they put their clothes out there, right? Is that their clothes on the hangers and
They
stuff?
put all their clothes, album covers.
There's 5 records on the floor there. I see Modern Lovers and Let's Stay Together by Al Green.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what the other 3 records are?
Oh, man.
I can't tell.
There's one at the end that nobody can figure out.
Yeah, if you know, write it in the comments, please. Because I'm sure there was significance to what the records were. The other people pictured in the photo, all anonymous passers-by, except the 3 Beastie Boys are in there too, right?
That's correct. There's Yauk.
Yeah.
There's Ad Rock. And that's Mike D right there. Somehow he got caught looking straight at the camera. One of my favorite parts of the shot is the lens flare.
It's the biggest lens flare in hip-hop history, I suspect.
I think you are right.
I'll say it so you don't have to.
If you dug that, check out the full interview or this one with Joe Jack Talcum of the Dead Milkmen. They're both cool, man.